Coming up on Mountain News this morning, officials in eastern Kentucky are calling for more to be done about animal cruelty after a woman was found with more than 100 animals. And one community is taking initiative to help keep its front yards clean.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 a.m. on Tuesday, March 12th. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. Beautiful start to the day. I'll say for some of us. You'll notice why with temperatures in just a moment. It is 37 outside our studios here in Hazard. If you loved yesterday, you're going to end up loving today. We've got another beauty on tap. Average high is about 56, and it's one little curveball that Mother Nature will try to throw at us for tomorrow, and we'll explain during the course of the 6 o'clock hour. Temperature-wise, we're at 43 right now at Jackson, but 29 your way at Ashland, 29 out your way at Irvine, 28 Manchester, 30 at Harlan, and again, 37 here in Hazard. Where we have the temperatures that are warmer, higher, is because our wind has not calmed down. And yes, the lack of cloud cover also enabling our temps to fall back in some locations. Closest clouds are across the southern Great Lakes, and guess what? May have some high clouds dim that sunshine a bit. As we head through the afternoon, we have to throw in the emoji cast one more time because, well, hey, I forgot about it closing up the 5 o'clock newscast. And you're going to love the fact that we will be able to keep this nice weather going over the next couple of days. More about your first alert 7-day forecast and our next chance of widespread precipitation. That's all coming up in a few moments. Olivia?
All right, Tim, thank you. A Perry County woman was recently charged with animal cruelty. Mary Elizabeth Coots was found with more than 10 dozen cats, dogs, and exotic animals inside her home in the Delphia community of Perry County. The Perry County Sheriff's Office, along with Fish and Wildlife, called in the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter to assist. As I'm about to show you, shelter president Tony Vaughn says it was unlike anything he had ever seen before. We do want to warn you, some of the images in this story may be disturbing.
In all my years in law enforcement, I've been in a lot of homes. That was definitely in the top 5. I mean, it was filled with feces. I mean, every ounce of it.
Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter President Tony Vaughn says it was a total of 129 animals. According to the arrest citation, Mary Elizabeth Coots was charged with second-degree animal cruelty. Vaughn says the conditions were deplorable.
She had made the statement to me while I was there that, you know, they caught her on a day that she didn't clean. And I'm thinking to myself, with 129 animals, you can't stop cleaning. If you've got that many animals to feed, water, clean after, you better be doing it every day you're awake.
Due to an already overcrowded shelter, Vaughn says he was approved by county officials to temporarily house the animals at Little Leatherwood School. And to Vaughn, this is the perfect example that more needs to be done to address the problem.
Part of the issue is, you know, our state laws are so weak. As a matter of fact, I'll be speaking in Frankfurt Thursday. And hopefully we can address some of this and try to get some of this under control. Backyard breeders, the transfer of these animals, all these should be serious considerations. To be ranked 46th out of the nations is just unacceptable. We have to do better.
According to the Animal Legal Defense Fund, Kentucky ranks 46th, which is considered the 5th worst state regarding animal protection laws in the country. In the last week, all but 7 of the animals have been placed in the hands of various rescues working with the shelter. Kentucky lawmakers have returned to Frankfurt after a weekend back in their home areas. The House and Senate gavelled in a 4 o'clock Monday afternoon. The race is on to get proposed legislation heard in the remaining days. The most important of those is a state budget. Senate leaders have been working behind the scenes on their version of a 2-year spending plan. If there are differences from the House version, those will have to be worked out in a conference committee before the budget could go to the governor's desk for his signature or line item vetoes. The House approved House Bill 11 yesterday. It would keep e-cigs and vapes from FDA approval out of Kentucky stores. The goal is to keep them out of the hands of children. The bill also proposes fines for those who sell authorized products to those 21 years of age and younger. The bill now goes to the Senate. Downtown Lexington is set to get an 800 square foot dynamic content board like the ones you might see in bigger cities. Despite opposition from neighbors, the Lexington Board of Adjustment gave the Lexington Center Corporation its unanimous approval on Monday afternoon. The sign displaying video, animations, and special effects will be on the exterior of the newly renovated Central Bank Center and Rep Arena. It would not light up after 11 p.m. Sundays through Thursdays and after midnight on Fridays and Saturdays unless there is an active event still going on. This spring, city officials in Jenkins are encouraging folks to start cleaning up their yards. WYMT's RJ Johnson explains.
Having a clean city is one of the priorities being discussed amongst officials in Jenkins. Mayor Todd Dupree says they want folks to take pride in the community.
We just want people to be, proud of the community, and we have lots of folks that are, and they take real good care of their property, but they may have folks in the neighborhood that's not doing a good job of keeping it cleaned up. So, it doesn't have to be mansions, but, trash, garbage, litter, keeping the grass cut, and, just normal stuff.
Saying it can even help bring in more opportunities to the city.
A clean city is easier for us to promote for economic development. When those folks come in to do site surveys and look, they don't just go to the industrial park, drive around and leave. They drive through downtown, they drive through neighborhoods, they check on the schools, they check on, what's here in town to support the business they maybe want to put in. So
Dupree says the city will have pickups where people can place unwanted trash free of charge.
If that fails, then, we can look at taking city crews and going in and doing the cleanup, abating the nuisance, whatever it is, whether it's garbage, trash, or weeds, or bushes, or whatever's got it the shape it's in.
If that doesn't fix the issue, Dupree says they are even discussing the possibility of putting a lien on a property and ultimately acquiring it themselves. However, that can be avoided by simply picking up around the yard.
That's something we don't want to have to do, but it is an option. We try to warn people and say, hey, here's the issue, and you've got to get cleaned up. And so we normally do a warning, give them a little while. If they do work on it and get it cleaned up, that's good.
In Jenkins, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Dupree says they will work with community members that might not be able to clean up on their own.
And a good Tuesday to you. Weather-wise, it's quiet right now, clear skies. But you're going, hey, hold on a second, Tim. Temps, they kind of vary all over the region, don't they? 28 in Manchester, 28 down your way at Middlesboro, 29 Ashland, 31 Irvine. Then we look at Moorhead at 45, Jackson at 43, Prestonsburg at 42, Pikeville your way at 40. No, there's no fronts around the region. Think of it this way. You put a blanket on at night, you're doing what? You're keeping heat close to your body. Well, cloud cover would do that. We have none to show you this morning. So the other thing we have going on, a lot of us have had their wind calm out. That allows heat to just escape into space, especially when you don't have that blanket. So needless to say, our temperatures vary across the region, but when the sun rises and no cloud cover to speak of, guess what? We are going to end up having a splendid day with a lot of sunshine just being filtered by some high clouds as we head through the afternoon, a high up to 67 in Hazard. More about your first alert 7-day forecast coming up in a few moments. Olivia?
Thank you, Tim, and thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, a shakeup of Haiti's government as the Prime Minister says he's stepping down.
Hey, what's up? It's Nick with another episode of A Road to Recovery presented by Addiction Recovery Care. Today we're joined by Kayla Storms. Kayla is somebody who is living in long-term recovery. And Kayla, I know you are 8 years into your recovery journey.
Yes.
So the one question I want to ask everybody at the beginning is, what did life look like 8 years ago?
Oh my gosh, 8 years ago, I was just getting released from jail after my dad tried to do everything to keep me in there. I got to spend the weekend with my kids, and by the time I got to the driveway, Dad had intake on the phone for me, and I was going back to rehab. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
Tell me a little bit about what your life looks like today. You're somebody that a lot of people look to for advice and kind of carrying on the recovery journey. What does life look like?
I can't believe that I wake up every day and get to do the things that I do. 8 years ago, I never seen myself being able to take care of people and to help people, let alone get to work in a college and be on that side of things and get to teach people and help other people. So, it's great. I have my kids, my family, my husband. It's something that you wait for and you hope for. And then when that finally happens, it's just like, you just can't believe it.
Some of the hardest decisions people make is about going to addiction treatment and getting help. Pride can stand in the way. Situations at home can stand in the way. Mm-hmm. Was it a hard decision for you? And then when you did make the decision to come, was it worth it? Absolutely.
So my oldest daughter, came with me and my parents to bring me back to treatment. I'd been in treatment before. And at that time, I knew that's what I needed to do. Because if I couldn't do it, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be the mom that I needed to be for them. And they needed me. So making that decision, however scary it was, I had great people around me. My family supported me. They wanted me to do what I needed to do to get better.
What's your advice to somebody today that's living in addiction?
Oh my God.